My goal for all of you with this training is really just to walk away with tools that you feel are helpful. And you may hear some things or feel some things and go, I don't know if that's for me right now, or I don't know if that jives with how I'm teaching. Awesome, that's fine. I go to workshops too and I feel the same way, but then there's stuff that I feel like that totally fits into my philosophy or my learning. When I came up with core functional fitness, I had already been teaching yoga, had already been teaching Pilates, and just kind of always was kind of questioning things that were going on or why we were doing stuff, and I felt like no one was giving me the answer. It was just kind of that's because we've already done it that way, or just because, and I felt like that wasn't a good enough answer. And I remember my first Pilates training, and it was at a YMCA. It was a one day, and I felt like the instructor was more concerned about sipping her Starbucks latte than she was about what we were doing. And it was just like that occurred to me that it was like, these are people's bodies, and we need to care more about them, but the only way we can do it is if we understand them more. And so I guess I just started to kind of tweak how I was teaching, and things just started making more sense for me, and I felt like this isn't Pilates anymore, but it's also not yoga, but it's not really a style of anything, it's a method. And so what I've kind of come across over the last couple times teaching this now is I feel very strongly about core functional fitness being a method of application to everything you're already doing. So it will jive right with your yoga. It will jive right with your personal training. It will jive with your Zumba. I actually have an instructor that took level 1 and 2 that lives past Green Bay, Algoma. And she's a Zumba teacher and she's a yoga teacher. And she's like changing how she's doing Zumba because of this. So it will just apply and make sense, and students will gravitate towards it. But it may also be a good challenge because these aren't quick, fast moves. These are very much focused on the core in a way that we have not been exposed to, or many people haven't. You're not going to see stuff a lot lying on the back. You're going to see a lot more moving through different planes of motion and looking at more neutral first and then expanding into this kind of V position that we know Pilates to be, or externally rotated back foot, which we know yoga is kind of a staple for. And we'll kind of decode that stuff and go, well, why have we been doing that? And then looking at the habitual issues that people currently have today, particularly people in America, and start looking at the exercise that we're teaching. Are we actually aiding in those issues or assisting in decreasing those issues? So I think that's something that as teachers we really need to kind of, in our head, go over a little bit. So it is more than just getting up in front of class, doing a routine, and then saying, awesome, we'll see you next week. But rather having the ability to say, what do you need to work on today, Shelley? And she says back issues. And then you look at X, Y, and Z, or you go, oh, okay, I know what I want to do with her. Or you watch people come in and, you know, they walk funny, or they're putting more weight on their foot. And having some background knowledge to say, why could they possibly be doing that? So it's less about the movements and these are back bends and these are for this, but rather individualizing a group atmosphere. And I think that's what's really cool about this program, is it will really give you the confidence to be able to do that and be able to actually look at individual students and help them feel more with doing less.